Hey guys, how's everybody doing? It's been a while since I made a video. The last one I made was on the Potenzic D58, I believe. So I thought I'd make a quick video on my drone slash FPV journey. I've been dabbling with this for a couple of months now, since last year, March. So with the Potenzic D58, eventually lost that. That was my first drone ever. Crashed it into a tree, and a really tall tree. That was the end of that. Could not retrieve it. It's probably still stuck in the tree to this day. Yeah, but that was an okay drone for what it is, for what it costs. But since then, a lot has happened, and I've come a long way. So I decided to get into FPV, first person view. Quads really, and went out and got myself thereafter, about a month later, I went and got the Mobula 7. Got that. So wow, a lot of learning, I must say. I got this, I got the Radio Master TX16S. And I got the Box Fat Shark Scout goggles. Changed a lot of things on these. I've learned a lot. There's a lot of information out there on the internet, on YouTube. There's a lot of content from different people. The guys certainly know there's stuff out there, I must say. So a lot of these products in itself takes a lot of learning. Just the goggles alone, I mean, there's things in here that you've got to understand, know how, for example, frequencies work, etc. It's really cool. And then the radio itself, it's just learning. There's software involved, there's coding, there's ways to set up your transmitter, your transmitter buttons, switches. Really cool. In parallel to all of this, one of the key things, and after a lot of research, I learned that best to start in a simulator. So I went out and I got, can't remember what it is now, but yeah, I do have a sim, and I did a lot of practicing on that, the sim. So while flying the Mobula, I'll show you the Mobula in a second, what's left of it. Did a lot of practicing on the sim and flying the Mobula indoors. So that was really great. The sim really helps. It really is. It's somewhat true and realistic to a degree, but I find actually it's a little harder. So when I ended up flying something real, it was a lot easier, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so a sim, definitely get a simulator, and that's the way to go. Even if you invest a little bit of money to buy a good sim, I would definitely tell you, get a simulator before you go out and fly anything, except even if it's not a quad, if it's a fixed wing, any sort of, if there's a sim for whatever you're trying to do for your hobby, definitely get into a sim, learn, practice before going out and damaging your products. I've got a sim, I still practice on it, but I'll show you, I've gone through a few drones and I'm still going through them just because of my own curiosity. I might be breaking, flying, repairing, whatever it is. It's the Mobula 7, so 7 years. This is what's actually left of it. I customized it, as you do with your hobbies. You customize stuff. So I put little landing legs on it, so it actually doesn't damage stuff. But what had happened is, and if you look at my channel, there's a bunch of raw DVR videos with me flying the Mobula 7. What had happened is, I think there was a gust of wind or something had just flipped it over, and I'd lost sight of it. and I was in a recreational facility near a parking lot. So I think when I eventually found it, I think a car had gotten over it. So it was yeah, pretty months after. I think he had just went over the side of it. In fact, a couple of motors were damaged there. Yeah, yeah. So that's, you know, flight controller. The flight control. Yeah, the camera is okay. I know that works, so I could reuse that elsewhere. The VTX is on part of the camera, I see, so that's reusable. Flight controller is damaged. Why? Because this is an all-in-one flight controller. Why? Because I was thinking to rebuild this thing, so I went out and got me a receiver. And being a newbie and amateur that I am, trying my hand at, you know, soldering really tiny stuff, I damaged the pads on here, I think. Trying to look at where I did it. Pretty sure I did it with this one, yeah. So that's a boner, but that's okay. You can get upgrades for these flight controllers. There are a lot newer ones out there, and I think at some point I will. And I have to get some motors on it. I think 2 of these motors are okay. Yeah, this one's okay. That one's okay. And I've got to get 2 motors and a flight controller, and that should get Mobula 7, or what's left of it, back in the air. So yeah, actually this one, you know, obviously because there was a gust of wind, I'd lost control and sight over it, and pretty sure a car had gotten over it. Yeah, that's put aside, and I mean, it is, as you get into this hobby, you learn that, you know, things you have to repair. You've got to get yourself a soldering iron kit, you know, really small tools to be able to, you know, put things together, a charging area station, things like that. So yeah, so while I was actually having a play of this, I went out and got a Emax Tinyhawk Sport 5-inch as well, 6S. Now, these guys are 1S, you know, the tiny little batteries like these, right? 1 cell, and then I'm gonna get out 6 cell, bro. You could easily see power, but I mean, come on, right? So I went out and got that. Now, if you look at my channel as well, there's a lot of videos on the 5-inch Hawk Sport, but this one has been interesting. I've been playing and tweaking a lot with the Hawk Sport. So a couple of things I've done on here is I put these really thick cable ties on here, so that it adds. So it's actually, because the battery fits directly underneath, and every time I come down, I've been slamming on the battery. I noticed the battery was getting damaged, so that takes care of that problem. So it just lands on there. Did a lot of experimenting on this from a beta flight point of view. So that's a software for the flight controller. A lot of changes. I pretty much upgraded the firmware. You know, tried a different number of PIDs in the end. Started dabbling with that, and I got it really good. I actually got it pretty locked on in terms of my flight. And if you look at my channel, there's a couple of really nice videos out there, raw DVR, as well as using the, where is it? Using the, I got a Insta. Oh, that's pretty bright, isn't it? Insta 360 Go. This is a really cool little camera for quads. Yeah, sorry about the fuzziness there. I don't usually do a lot of videos, as you can tell. Yeah. So why is it sitting in pieces at the moment? Because I usually go out on Sundays and do a bit of practicing. And I was practicing power loops, and I power looped too low to the ground. Came back around, whack, and yeah, took a really good beating really. Where is the canopy? Let me show you the canopy. Yeah, the canopy cracked, bunted. The buzzer has a dent in it. Camera was ruined. Yeah, this is the old Cadex camera. You can see it's cracked right there. Yeah, I got busted. So yeah, so I thought, okay, started fiddling with that. Replaced the camera, didn't quite work, kept dropping out. Got a new VTX. I went and got a what is this? Yeah, I forgot the name of it, but this is the Unify Pro. It's got a nice VTX on there. Went and got the VTX. Also got the Run Cam Eagle 3 to go onto here, so we changed that. Still dropped out. Eventually found out. So what was happening is the Run Cam was losing power and signal was just kept dropping out while putting the stuff together. Eventually found that there was a short just underneath the flight controller, on the flight controller itself. Can't really see it, but yeah, you can see a bit of a slight burn there, and it was shorting out. So yeah, so I've ordered a new flight controller for this. It's 20 by 20, and right now there's a delay in technology globally, so I've got to wait for that to come through. So eventually they should have a new flight controller, the same flight controller that is. Will have a Unify Pro receiver. It'll have a different camera. Put it back together. See how that goes. So I'll do a review on that once I get it back together. There's a few other things I've changed in this as well, so I'll do a full review just on that. Cool. In parallel to that, once I damaged that, I went out and I got the Tinyhawk 2, Emax Tinyhawk 2. Yep. A couple of things again I've changed in here. I've added a little cable on here. So this is where the tiny camera will fit in. The Instago 360 fits into here and just lodges itself in the canopy. Well, behind the canopy sort of thing. And I just trimmed the back end so it's like it adds like a little base to it. Just changed how the antenna and the VTX antennas sort of sit. Before they were all tucked away in. I just sort of brought them out. What else have I done on here? Oh, I had to resolder the power cable because it came out really. It just came off the solder. So I had to resolder that on the board. At some point I will change it, but for now it works just well. Beta flight, I've learned a lot. So I've tried version 3 of Mockingbird on here. If you guys don't know what that is, look up Mockingbird version 3. There's guys out there making really good, cool CLIs for whoops. Tried that out, didn't work. I upgraded the motors to JESC latest version, firmware update. It says to give you a bit more flight time. Yeah, works really good on 1S, 2S, had trouble. Yesterday I think I followed T-Max how-to guide, and this thing flies well as of last night. Really locked in 1S or 2S. So I'm going to play with that a bit more today. Otherwise I'm really enjoying this drone. I fly it a lot indoors. On 2S I'll do outdoors, and I'll do a bit of videoing with that, because you can get into really tight spaces with this. It's really cool and really low to the ground. So that's why I quite like this. It hates wind. Obviously the slightest wind you're going to get knocked over. So 2S is okay, but I would advise flying drones in windy conditions. So that's where pretty much I've come, you know. Potensek D58 still in the tree. This got run over by a car. This power looped into the ground in repairs. This is more so in repairs. This one, yep, I'll get to it one day. This is my daily at the moment. This is doing really well. I need to order more props because the problem with this one is the props do crack along the center hub fitting. I mean, I guess if you crash a lot, and that's me being a newbie and learning this hobby, you know, crash, repair, fly, crash, repair, fly. Yeah, but there's still so much to learn. There's still so much to learn just in terms of PIDs, you know, just how to configure your PIDs or configure anything from a Betaflight point of view is a huge learning experience. So and it's time. You've got to have time, and you got to have the equipment. I've learned the hard way. You got to have the right equipment for the right job. A soldering iron, the right tip for the right job. Like I buttered up the right tip. You know, I've seen some guys use, I've seen some guys charging stations, so I've gone away and I've got a sheet of glass here. My charging station's there. At some point I do want to upgrade this charger. It's a single charger, XT60, but I do want to get, you know, like a four output for XT60 and maybe XT30. I have to find that. Can't really, yeah. That's pretty much it. I mean, I've tweaked and dabbled in a lot of the equipment. I mean, if you look, for example, just the goggles alone, it's running the Black Sheep long range antenna. This is really cool. I thought it will make a difference, but after some research, I find it does make a difference on all of my quads compared to the little short stumpy one that comes with this thing. Yeah, this makes a huge difference. The other thing I've done on the Sport was I put the nano one from Black Sheep on this one, TBS on the quad. I might actually use this on other quads as well because I find it works well with the long range. And currently I'm waiting for ducted diatone 3-inch. That should come today. So I'll do an unboxing on that later if it comes today. But I thought I'd get something out there in terms of where I've come with this hobby, things that I've done, and yeah, and my setup. You know, it's a learning experience. It takes a lot of time. I enjoy it. I really do, and I love flying. So soon I can get out in the air and fly. Great. So today, hopefully that diatone comes and I'll do an unboxing on that and take it from there. Cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe. That's cool. I mean, if this is just informational videos, there's a lot of stuff out there on YouTube and the internet, so definitely encourage you guys, if you want to get into this hobby, research, read. Simulator, very important. And I'll leave you with that. Thanks for watching. Out.